I'm joined now by Rabbi Jeffrey Myers. He was presiding over services here at the Tree of Life Synagogue when the gunman walked in and started firing. Rabbi, good morning.
Good morning.
Condolences don't seem enough at a moment like this, but I hope you know the hearts of the nation are with you.
The world.
The world. Indeed, the whole world.
Yes.
We were just talking about you haven't been back here since Saturday. When you look at your synagogue, this is your home, your house of worship, and what crosses your mind?
I didn't see the stars and the beautiful tributes to people until I caught a little bit of the news last night, and I saw it in person this morning, and for a moment I felt like I'm standing at a cemetery and this is a massive mausoleum, and it's my home and it's been desecrated.
You said to me a few moments ago you could never use that sanctuary again.
It can't be used again in its present condition. The bullet holes are too numerous to count, but we will rebuild because we're a tree of life. We've been here 154 years, and you can cut off some branches, but the tree will continue to grow and we will be back.
You can see how this community of all faiths, how people are pulling together in this moment, and I can't imagine what you saw, Rabbi, on Saturday morning. It's just a regular Saturday morning, your leading services, your most faithful are there. Can you tell me what happened?
We start at 9:45, and the regulars are there. They're these good, decent people who are now over there. And within a few minutes, I heard what I thought was crashing metal of one of the coat racks. And I thought one of our seniors maybe lost his or her balance and pulled on it to right themselves and fell, God forbid, or something. And at that moment, 3 members of Dor Chadash, one of the congregations that we house on our building, I saw them ran down the stairs. That's when the next set of then bullets rang out within another 10 or 15 seconds. And while I've never personally witnessed or heard gunfire, thank God, until this moment, just something inside told me, no, this is gunfire. And I quickly told my congregants to just drop to the floor, be quiet, don't say a word, don't move. Because I thought, all right, the pews are thick, old wood. Perhaps there's some protection there. And the people who were closer to the front of the sanctuary, I quickly helped get them out through the front of the sanctuary. There are doors leading to this labyrinth of a building to get people out to different places, whether it's to exit or hide in a closet or something. I tried to see if I could go back to get the 8 remaining people who were in the back of the congregation. But I could tell gunfire was getting louder. It was coming up the stairs, and I couldn't save those 8 people.
Did you see the gunman?
No, I never saw the gunman.
Did you hear him say anything?
I never heard any words from the gunman at any time. So I just ran through the back of the sanctuary, went up the stairs because the exit route that I thought I could take, I didn't feel was a safe route because he would have a sight line where I would be coming out, and I thought that's kind of foolish. So I went up into the choir loft, and I heard him execute my congregants. I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. But I called 911. I was the first caller, and I stayed on the line for what seemed like an eternity. They say it was about 20 minutes. I lost track of time. I wasn't looking at my watch, but I heard footsteps and so forth. And fortunately, there's a bathroom up there, so I just went into the bathroom. But the lock didn't work, so my mind just held onto the door and just prayed to God that don't find me. And then fortunately, SWAT came at what seemed like an eternity and rescued me. But at that point, they had not caught him. He was still at large somewhere in the facility. So they safely escorted me out of the building, closer to this end of the building, and had me run across the street. So that's probably that famous 15 minutes of fame photo of me running across the street with my prayer shawl on. So they ran me across to here and then escorted me down the street. But the police were hiding because they didn't know where he was yet. They hadn't caught him.
And of course, we know police officers were shot as they tried to stop him.
I know.
We now know, according to the police, that he had horrendous things to say and that he targeted members of the Jewish faith. He targeted this place.
Yeah.
How do you wrap your head around that? How do you feel about that? Because just the thought of it hurts so much.
At first, I think it's a mixture of anger disbelief, or rolled into one as to, am I really experiencing this? Is this just some horrific nightmare and I'm going to wake up? Was this just some cruel drill that the FBI just had us do to practice? All of those things, I think, go through simultaneously. And then I saw that there is hate, and it isn't going away. It just seems to be getting worse.
The president may come and visit. Would you like to visit with him? And
It'd be my honor to always meet a president of the United States.
do you have something you'd want to say to tell him about your community and these good people who lost their lives?
These are good, decent people. They didn't have an ounce of hate in any of them. And we turn to the leaders of our country. We've got to stop hate, and it can't just be to say we need to stop hate. We need to act, to tone down rhetoric. Hate is not welcome here in Pittsburgh. It should not be welcome in our borders at all.
Rabbi Myers, you were a pastor in every sense on Saturday, helping your congregants. I know you're caring for them now in the vigil, and I know you haven't gotten much sleep, so thank you for being here. And our hearts and our prayers are with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.